Yeah, so
Well, let's talk hockey.
yeah, let's talk hockey. This is post to post.
Post to post with the
Yeah.
guy that knows less than the most.
Well, here we are at the Charlottetown Airport. It's a big day today. Today is July the 4th. Happy Independence Day to the Americans. Yesterday, we created the Atlantic Bubble, allowing residents of Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Newfoundland to travel between and among those provinces without having to self-isolate for 14 days on arrival in the new destination. So because of that, we have opened up our general aviation airport functions, and we're going to be having barbecues for itinerant visiting pilots as well as local pilots. So we're getting set up for that right now. What CYYG is that? What? Since we moved to PEI in 2007, I've been hanging around the airport. For a while, I managed to have a share in this plane right here for several years and flew quite a bit around Atlantic Canada and off into the United States. General aviation's a lot of fun. For me, though, it's mostly about the fellowship. I don't fly this. I sold my share in this aircraft about 2.5 years ago. And I still have the fellowship, though, because that doesn't cost anything. So all the friends I've made in the pilot community here and elsewhere, it's been really an important part of my life. We have things like the barbecue, like we're having right now. And the radio always interrupts things, as it should. We have lots of functions and events. We have Christmas dinner. We have barbecues all summer long. Sometimes the pilots and their spouses will all gather to have a pizza night or just hang out at someone's house. It's a lot of fun. The barbecues are fun, especially in the summer when people can actually fly into them because you get to see old friends. One of the pilots that came in from Moncton is a man, Jim Lockyer, who I had actually served with in the Brunswick legislature about 30 years ago. And we both have reacquainted ourselves through flying, which is very interesting. We sat across the aisle from each other back between 1991 and 1995, and I'd say now we agree on everything. Jim's a good guy. But we had pilots here from Moncton and also from Nova Scotia and their families, and we just had a wonderful time. Our president, Brian Pound, was flipping the burgers and handing them out. We had a lot of representation from the local area as well, and it's just a way for us to reconnect, especially after all this COVID business and all the lockdowns and travel restrictions. And now those are all over with, at least for Atlantic Canada. We can now go anywhere else in Atlantic Canada, and when we return, we do not have to self-isolate for any period of time. Although if we have symptoms, we have to report them. They follow us. They know who we are in case they need to call us for contact tracing or something. But for the most part, it's almost back to normal when it comes to intercommerce within the Atlantic provinces of Canada. So that means planes can fly in, which is great. So we had 4 planes come in. Doesn't sound like a lot, but for us, it's 4 planes more than we've had basically since the beginning of March. And they're able to fly here. We did some paperwork with them, made them go through all the proper protocols and procedures, greeted them wearing masks until we could all get out of the aircraft and get properly social distanced and all of that. And they'll be flying home fairly soon, and then it's back to our normal lives. But it's just great to be able to celebrate general aviation once again in a beautiful place. The Charlottetown Airport is extremely attractive for private pilots. We have lots of hangar space that are occupied with general aviation aircraft. We also have lots of support from the local airport authority. We purchase our fuel from them. We wish the price would be a little bit better on the fuel sometimes, but for the most part, they plow us in the wintertime. They're extremely happy to have us here at the Charlottetown Airport, and it's a very aviation-friendly, general aviation-friendly facility. So I hope you enjoyed our little barbecue story today, one of the small good news stories that have come out of us creating the Atlantic Bubble and allowing us to start to connect with each other once again, despite the ravages of the pandemic that's going on around the world. We can slowly, incrementally start to open things up and hopefully return to some kind of, I don't want to use the normal word, but some kind of life that we were used to and accustomed to having prior to this whole thing breaking out. So I hope you're safe wherever you are, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.